I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Oh, give me fucking truth, baby! Come on! Let's go!
How have I been this successful in life?
Welcome to this week's edition of the MMA Analysis Podcast. I am your host, Lance Official. I think I missed the last couple shows. I'm turning into Joe Rogan. We'll just do the big cards. No one has time for you.
But you don't even do the big cards.
Yeah, sometimes you even miss the big cards. You weren't even on Dubronk's last fight.
Where was I for that?
Probably T-ball.
Yeah.
Maybe under 9 soccer. You never know.
Could be. Well, my daughter's moving up to U12, so, size 5 ball, the whole bit.
Wow.
You didn't even come on for Bearjew's last fight, too. Oh, I mean, that was the same.
That was last week.
Yeah, that was the same. No, the one before that.
I was in Hilton Head.
The one before.
They don't have internet in Hilton Head?
If you think I'm going to do a podcast in Hilton Head from the condo with the family...
Sadly.
We need to do a podcast live from the floor in Vegas.
Pass, not a nerd. I gotta go to Vegas next week.
This is the second one. So is our trip going to be the third one? The third and final of the year? Fourth and final? How many times? Third
time's a charm.
Three is too many though. This one's so short. Like I leave my flight, I have to connect. Like my flight is at like 7 a.m. on Thursday. I get to Vegas at like 12:30 in the afternoon on Thursday, and I leave Saturday at like 10:30. So I'm there less than 48 hours.
Important business has to be done in those
important business meetings.
Sub 48 hours, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so three Vegas trips in 1 year.
Save the best for last.
That's right.
Yes, that's easily. I mean, football season and all that.
It's everything season. It's everything season.
Yeah, it's when we're going, it's World Series, college football, NFL, there'll be some fights, golf.
Basketball. We're gonna be there you're gonna enjoy the Haganu fucking
Oh yeah, that's the Hog
versus front row for that.
Yep.
The UFC hasn't announced a card for that night yet, right?
Not yet.
No, but that fight will be in the afternoon, right? Because it's the Saudis.
I don't care about that. I just know the UFC is going to counter program with something probably pretty cool.
Well, I don't. We've talked about it a bit on this podcast. I don't know if they will. I don't know if ESPN is going to let them.
Why?
Because that's where the pay-per-view is going to be on.
What would be after though?
It would be. But then why would they counter program?
So they can just promote shit out of the UFC, and then most people can't take like 12 hours in a day to watch fights.
Yeah, that's fair.
No one's going to buy that fucking thing. You're going to buy exhibition match between an MMA fighter with zero boxing experience facing the heavyweight champion, and Fury's not going to take it seriously at all. He's just going to dance around and fuck around. It's going to be depressingly horrible.
I think you are severely underestimating how many people will buy that fight.
Could you imagine buying that?
I'm not saying it's a good fight. It's just that people are going to pay to watch that.
You think?
Yeah.
Why?
Does Fury sell a lot of pay-per-views in the first place?
A decent amount.
I don't know. Why would you buy that? You're buying one fight, basically? An exhibition between a guy who's ever boxed?
You don't know that. They might put on
something like this. They've had decent undercards. Especially by by MMA standards these days. They're good as well. So
there's just no way. Not doing it. Brian Harmon. Boom.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Short King.
Yeah. It's been a good month. It's been a real good month.
It's been a good year for golf.
Yeah, golf's been hit 7 outrights, which is
just wild that's and you've had how many seconds? It's just fucking wild.
Oh my god. I want
3
to
to
say
win
I've had
15 or whatever, 3 to win 12 or whatever your
3 to win 15. Depending on how you do it, your unit size and stuff, but it's basically it makes it a plus 500, so it's like 3 for 15. But I must have had I had 7 wins, and I think I've had 10 seconds. And the year started off. The first tournament of the year is when Morikawa blew a 6-stroke lead on Sunday. That's how I started my year, and I lost the first 7 tournaments. And then since the last month and a half has been crazy with 3 in the last 5 tournaments.
Yeah, that'll help.
Don't stop now.
That'll do it. Yeah.
See,
I'm
you're gonna
feeling
get a live golf. That's a collector's item. You're gonna get a live golf hat in Vegas.
No.
Live golf bucket hat. That's
Lance
pure
goes in these streaks where he's just. I mean, when COVID was going on, he was just roasting the dead dumb people, and then of course now it's transitioned to the live golf stuff, and it's fun. It's fun to follow.
I hate a lot of people. Well, the new thing that people like to do is blame heart attacks on the vaccine, which is a good. Did you know no one had a heart attack before the vaccine?
Yep.
I can't believe you survived.
I love how they pick the thing that kills like half of Americans anyway. Like, oh yeah, this one, that's the one we're gonna convince.
That's the stuff.
Up out of nowhere.
Isn't heart attack and heart disease like top 3 cause of death in the U.S.?
Yes, heart disease.
Yeah,
number 1.
I think it's number 1. Yeah,
number 1.
And that's because of the COVID vaccine.
Definitely because of that.
Obviously,
not because of Texas's sized meals.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, that's cool. There'll always be idiots everywhere. It's unavoidable.
They're just louder now.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are way cooler.
And I think less people are making fun of them. We need more people to do that.
Yeah.
The worst part about dumb people is they don't know they're dumb.
They should know by how poor they are, though.
Probably.
Yeah, but you blame that on other things, and then it's not that fault.
See, I was in Hilton Head last week, and every time I go to Hilton Head, I always say, why don't I move here? Like, why don't I live here? Like, it's perfect, right? It's like the best place on earth. The best golf. People are fine. Like, the beaches. Everything is so great there. You also don't run into idiots there. And it's because it's so fucking expensive that it's almost like an IQ test to go into Hilton Head, because you have to have money to go into Hilton Head. So I think that's one of the other reasons I like Hilton Head. You just don't run into idiots. There's no pores there.
That's your ideal world right there, Lance.
Great golf, no pores. I've been looking at houses just because, to drive myself crazy.
Well, and how often you go there, you might as well just buy something.
Yeah.
For the,
I've thought about doing I don't go there that much. I go like once or twice a year max. But I've thought about you can do like an investment property and you live there in the off season.
Timeshare.
Yeah, kind of thing. Get like a condo and whatever it is. But yeah, I don't know. Less idiots, which is always nice to see. So. Anyway, I got vaxxed and I got COVID. Man, just research some vaccine information. That's not how it works. All right, let's recap UFC London, which was fucking awful. I left real early to drive home, and I got back. I missed the first 4 or 5 fights, which was great that I missed those. Card was horrible. Just decision after decision, unimportant fight, and the crowd wasn't good. They were giving away tickets like that.
Because UFC is fucking trying to sell an arm and a leg for nosebleeds. So,
well, they said, like, I think this proved that you can't just keep using the same thing without good cards and expect it to keep being this big thing. They put on an absolutely shitty card with Molly McCann in the co-main event.
Co-main, baby.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Turns out you can't sell all shit. You have to keep that in the apex, and then you can sort of sell some better stuff.
Yeah. So looking at these prelims, I don't think I need to read through all of them, but nothing really jumps out I would say. Joel Alvarez won by headbutt. That was cool. I enjoyed that. I hit him. I didn't have a great card, but Paul Craig helped with a lot of that. But Alvarez, I thought he's not great though. I think he's decent. He's not as good as I think a lot of us thought he would be. Definitely has some holes. And
Fun though. He makes fun fights.
He was. I was a bit worried in that second round before the headbutt and all that, but he can finish. He's definitely a finisher, and nothing else really. I don't know. The Parsons Robert fights was fun, but there was like two good fighters on the entire prelims, and it's just hard to give a shit.
And Brian Barberita at 185 looking like an absolute
yoked. Just you could tell he put on a lot of muscle for the fight.
He still can take an ass kicking. I was on Muradov inside, and he can take an ass kicking at 185. I don't know for how long, but it's that definitely went up in weight class.
Absorb a little bit more.
That's really been his only skill.
I know.
Davy Grant. What?
I don't.
That's on the main card, sir.
We haven't got there, but
we haven't got there yet.
Bantamweight
prelims on the.
Nope.
Main card.
That was the opener.
Bantamweight Dana Marcos for David Grant split decision. This was. I wasn't sweating the decision. That's how wide I thought it was, and I think it's the close but clear discussion. Marcos, he landed like one shot and it cut him or whatever. Outside of that, he did nothing. He wasn't aggressive, and people were like, well, Grant's punches didn't always land clean. He was throwing punches at least, which was a step up. That was a shocking decision. That was the swing for me on the night.
Same.
Yeah, that was consensus. So yeah, that's fun when that happens.
I don't know what people are watching when they say that his stuff didn't land clean. Like, he was ripping that dude to the body. The body work alone should have won him the fight.
Yeah.
Well, Marcos did nothing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Leg kicks. That's what he did.
I don't score those.
It's bad when a 30-27 Grant is a better scorecard than 29-28 the other way. And that's
I had 30-27 Grant.
Yeah. First was fairly close just because neither guy did much. Neither of them really punched each other in the head. It was basically just a leg kick a thon, but that's like a coin flip round for me. And Grant did a lot more work in the second, and the third was obviously Grant. So
yeah,
that's a tough one.
We're just seeing this every week. It's not going to change.
They were random judges. Those are some
Polish dudes or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, European dudes, but
it's not like there's these random judges are creating worse decisions than the guys we see every week. They're creating just as we had one. I forget what it was. It was one a couple weeks ago, and was the same usual suspects that we always see. And I don't know, like when I fuck up, I usually get questioned about it. Here, nothing happened. So
you don't work for the government though, so that's your first mistake.
No, that's not a mistake.
I know,
because I wouldn't be going to Hilton Head if I worked for the government.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, Lerone Murphy defeated Josh Kulabau. Decision. It was okay.
Yeah. He was just a little bit better, a little sharper, grappled a little bit better.
I'm not very high on him.
No. I bet him. It was one of my
less high on him than I was like 3 fights ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait. Faraz Diam defeated Jai Herbert. Decision. This fight was fucking train wreck. Awful.
That's a bad one. That's a whole lot of nothing.
Seconds of exciting. It was awful.
Terrible.
So bad. Then we got to the best fight, which Bearjew, he's a fucking legend. This guy, every fight he's in is fucking hilarious and fun and exciting, and he's just such a lovable dude. And I thought, it was looking a little bit worrisome at times, like any Bearjew fights. I was surprised how easily the takedowns came. Once he started shooting
weird.
Takedowns. Like he had a couple takedowns. It was like he shot really bad shots and was just boom.
Or he just tackled him. He just formed
there was
tackled
one literally a tackle, like a double. It was like a double leg tackle. Like he didn't pull up, he didn't drive. He just kind of just ran into him and took him down. And like I know he's like a jiu-jitsu guy and it's all this stuff, but he's got vicious ground and pound, and he always has.
When he's got gas, when he's not tired, his ground and pound is fucking nasty.
In cardio, I mean, it was a pretty back and forth, grueling-ish type fight, and like he looked fine in the second round for his first time 185.
Looked a hell of a lot better than Muniz. He fucking gassed and choked that fight away. Nice headbutt to just ruin top control when you were doing all right. That's smart. I don't hate losing money to the Bearjew because he is.
I can't believe you bet against him. What are you doing?
It's been working. It's been working recently.
He's a non-believer.
There's certain guys that if you're on this podcast, you cannot bet against no matter what. You just have to blindly bet them.
Nope.
He's one of them.
He's not one of them. There's some others. He's not.
If you just blindly bet him every fight, you would be doing pretty well.
I'm still way up betting that dude. I'm not too concerned.
They're betting against him?
No, with him.
Oh,
as well as against him.
Yes. That's fair. I mean, he started off, he lost a bunch of fights, but he went in that crazy winning streak, and he was a huge dog.
Yeah, that was the best thing, because then after that, his numbers were fucking huge, especially on subs.
Yeah. He is phenomenal. Brad, did you have him inside too?
I didn't. I just took money line because it was like plus 197 by the time I got there.
They kind of know. They've kind of figured out the old Bearjew. He's getting it done or not.
Well, even like sub was plus 370 and TKO was a big number if people took it. But
well,
I don't know.
I'm done betting subs because like you see this. I lost one on Bearjew against Jamal Hill where I had money line and I had sub, but I lost one like a month ago or so. And I told myself like I'm never doing that because any good jiu-jitsu guy, if you get like a dominant mount position or back mount, like you can always finish with strikes. It's like I don't know. It's got me caught too many times. And the TKO line, this was crazy because this was always an option for Bearjew. I mean, he tires, he gets on top and he beats the shit out of him. He wasn't even going for something. He just wanted to elbow his fucking head off his body.
That's one of the better elbow beat downs in a while. Yeah. That was a good one.
That was good. I thought his striking actually did. I know guys always say I'm working on my striking, this and this, but I actually thought his striking did look a little bit better. Now he was also fighting Muniz.
It wasn't even like the striking; it was almost the reactions to having punches thrown at him.
We're usually
a lot calmer. He was okay taking those punches. A lot better anyway. There wasn't many that really did too much.
These aren't bad.
Corona seltzer.
Yeah.
Interesting. But Meerkat and Schnell are the only ones where I'll still bet sub.
I mean, Snell's. I hit a huge one on Snell. Who was it against? It was a year ago because I remember I was dropping his
Arichi Lang, wasn't it? No,
was
it
that
was
last July?
It was the other Chinese guy.
So he was a huge dog. He was like a plus 300 dog, and sub was like plus 900, and it was one of the bigger bets I've ever hit because it was Sue Maderji.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Maderji
he was like
a big
plus
fave.
900 on the sub number, which was like the most ridiculous line I've ever seen.
Yep.
Old Danger Schnell. All right, featherweight. Nathaniel Wood defeated Andre Fili, 20-28 across the board. This was a tough one. I had Fili in this one. I think you guys did as well. This is a late ad for me. I don't know what he was thinking in that second round, just going to the ground like that. Wood was fucking dead, and he did that. And then in the third round, like I don't know. He didn't push it like in the third round. Wood was just way more active. And then Fili was complaining about the judges afterwards. Like, dude, you did not win the fight. Like, you can do it however you want. Like, you clearly lost 2 rounds. Like, what do you?
And you also had a good chance to finish it before the judges and made a bad mistake.
Yeah.
This is a case where you can actually like point to the leg kicks and be like, sure, okay, they were pretty even everywhere else. Yeah. Leg kicks win the third round for him, right?
Wood's gonna get fucked up soon because he is not gonna be able to grapple, and guys have bigger power than Andre Fili at that weight class.
He's too small. He's too short. But I do like his boxing when he's on. Like his boxing is pretty good, and I mean, if you take out that one shot Feely landed that kind of changed that second round, like Wood was kind of beating the shit out of him early on. He just looked a lot cleaner, and then Feely caught him. But I enjoyed this fight. I thought this was one of the – I forget what won the fight of the night, but it was something worse than this.
It was Parsons versus Roberts, which if you like that kind, then yeah.
I thought Wood – I mean, also the third round was kind of shitty.
Yeah, they kind of they were on cruise control. They were tired of dropping each other.
Yeah. Co-main, not kidding. Georgia Stolarenko defeated Molly McCann in like the second via armbar. Just absolutely hilarious. But Molly's dropping down, so future title contender.
It's insane how bad she is. They gave her a layup, and she just absolutely fumbled epically. Like, just dusted by a pretty terrible fighter. Very
this is the chick who lost to
one-dimensional.
Alexis Davis last year.
Yeah, but that was at 135. It's totally different.
Money well invested by the Barstool folk there.
Mm-hmm. Both of them, really.
It's been a good while since we had a classic women's round one armbar. So
Yeah.
that was
No, it was needed.
Yeah, it was well overdue.
What was that number?
It was
Didn't we
only
look at it?
750, 800.
Yeah, we looked. Didn't we talk about it on the podcast? We were like,
Yeah.
we're hoping for like 4 digits, and
Yep.
Guess we should have just taken it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then main event, Tom Aspinall defeated Marcin Tybura, knocked out pretty quick. He's good. Aspinall is very good. People saying he would stomp John Jones are funny. I don't know if he would, but just you watch him knock out Tybura, who was clearly just not even like he was fucking, he didn't know where he was in that fight. Like he was just there. I don't think knocking out Tybura is like, yeah, that means he could probably beat John Jones. Like that wasn't my reaction. I think it's an interesting fight, and you've seen the rumors that people were saying that we're
Yeah,
gonna.
that's definitely
John
Lance's
Jones.
sound.
Mine is messed up.
Yep.
Yeah. It's all
Mine's never
crackly
messed up.
and breaking in and out.
I know.
Mine doesn't mess up. I have high-end equipment. Still,
It sounds good now. It's just a little delayed now with your video, but it sounds good now.
how about now?
You look like you're being dubbed. Poorly.
Let me
anyway.
I'll refresh it.
Yes, sir. There we go.
I think we all felt we got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Aspinall's good, much better athlete than Tybura. Landed clean shit on him, and that is pretty much what we all expected.
Yeah, it's tough because like he can dust guys like this. We just don't know what he's gonna do against somebody good. I mean, it's heavyweight, so there's not that many good fighters. He does what he has to. I mean, he dusted Tybura. There's not too many guys that have done that. So props to him. I want him to see him fight, anybody good. Works for me. He's fun. He's got skills, man. I just want to see him.
He got crushed by Blades already, though.
I cashed in that fight.
Me too.
And so I won't be too mad about that.
Is this better? Are we good now?
Oh yes, you're perfect again, Lance.
Good. High end, just all around here. Paid by my company.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, I mean, if Stipe Bones, they could both retire. Apparently, is what we're seeing. So I think if that happens, you got Aspinall versus Sergey. If not, I think it's still, to me, Sergey's title shot next. I think that's what everyone wants to do.
Like who could he fight? Like, yeah, because of
He
the
could fight
Blades
the winner of
thing,
the Gon fight.
Gon versus Spivak.
Alex Pereira.
Going up. Yeah, I think Aspinall fights Gon if he wins, and Sergey gets the next title shot. Or if John Jones does retire after killing
Then he gets
Stipe,
faster. He gets
then you
fast
get
track
Aspinall versus Sergey.
because he's a bigger deal than those other guys.
I think Sergey and Aspinall are the dudes. Either way.
Jailman is the dude.
Jailman's got to finally get a real body so we can hype this dude some more.
Yeah. All right. let's move on. UFC 291. We got a good pay-per-view. This thing is phenomenal. The entire main card is great. Dustin Poirier, Gaethje 2. Can you believe that fight was over 5 years ago?
Time flies, man.
Like, I feel like that fight was not 5 years ago. It was.
Yeah, it feels about right to me. There's been a lot of stuff. It's more, well, maybe not more memorable, but a lot of stuff's happened in between there.
I think this is the perfect time for the rematch too. I like the timing of it.
Yep.
Good. All right, we'll jump right in on the prelims, which the early prelims are okay, I would say. These could be co-main events on some cards with Molly McCann. But we'll start women's flyweight. We'll start quickly. Miranda Maverick versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Something like that. New Shaun?
I really wish I could trust Miranda Maverick to finish a gassed, terrible catch a beating, because catch a beating's round one, maybe even a couple minutes or bust. And then if she gets it, she gets it. But I don't know if she will, because Maverick hasn't been finished. And like I said, I wish I could trust her more to just get rid of the corpse, but she's kind of a decision machine. So I think I'll end up passing on the under 2.5 in a women's fight, but I'll pick Maverick to win.
Brad?
I'm trying to come up with an opinion, and I really don't care. It was funny when people thought Miranda Maverick was going to be a future champion.
Yeah,
that was a good time.
That was a couple minutes there. That was good.
Yeah, I got nothing. I'll pick Maverick. All right, welterweight division. Matthew Semelsberger versus Euros Medić. Nisha.
This should be fun. Both these guys are pretty violent. Semelsberger's got a ton of knockdowns in the UFC. Usually he struggles when guys can grapple him. So I don't think Medić is going to grapple him, and this is going to be a striking fight. I think Semelsberger has the power to make big moments in the fight. I don't know if he finishes Medić, but I think he lands the better, harder strikes and wins. Probably going to pass, because it's hard to trust him at like minus 200. So, and inside the distance isn't that great of a number either. So I'll just probably pass.
Brett?
I kind of like Medić here. I never really been sold on Semelsberger. I know he's going, Medić is going up in weight for this one, so that's going to be interesting to see how he matches up size-wise, but I mean, he just fought Jalen Turner a couple fights ago, and that team's enormous, so I think that's not going to be too much of a problem, and I think he's just got more I know Shaun said that he's got a lot of knockdowns, but I think Medić has more weapons. He can go to the body a lot better than Semelsberger, and just kind of mix things up a little bit. And we've seen a couple versions of Semelsberger, and a few of them don't really like to pull the trigger all that much. I think Medić might kind of bring that out of him with some of the body work that he can throw in there. So we'll take some Medić. Not sure if it's finish or decision, but I kind of like him.
Yeah, with Brad on this one, I like Medić here. I think he's the better striker. I think he's the more creative striker. I think he's the overall better technical striker. Where I worry is if Semelsberger is going to wrestle, make it dirty, grapple with him, maybe get him down, especially with the size advantage here. But I think if this is a striking match, I think it's Medić here. And I think, like, we've seen Semelsberger get hit, we've seen him get hurt, and I think Medić can do that. And I think he's the better striker. So I think with the line, it's worth a stab. So I got him on my list. So we'll probably have a bet on him. All right, flyweight division, CJ Vergara versus Vinicius Salvador.
Vergara's okay, I guess. His last time out was very fun for how that fight went. That was quite the journey, and that did kind of show his defense is not great, and he's fighting a guy that's finished every fight that he's won. So that's a little bit concerning for a guy that, can be hit and can be rocked, and almost got taken out of there last time by Lacerda. So I'll probably pick Salvador. I don't know how good he is. If you're losing to Victor Altamirano, you're probably not that great, but I'll pick him in Toutmaster, but don't really want to bet on this fight.
Brad?
Yeah, the getting taken down 3 times by Victor Altamirano doesn't seem great, but like all that dude did that entire fight was shoot takedowns. So the fact that it was only 3 of them, I think he's going to be able to hold up and keep this on the feet against old Viagra, who does he take anyone down ever? Does he even like try to take people down?
Not really.
So I think we're on the feet here. He can be hit. All Salvador really does is throw big and hit people. So I'm gonna go with old Vinny Salvation here.
I don't care. I'm not. There's a lot of spots in this card. This is not what I'm born. I'm gonna pick Vergara, but yeah, this is not a fight I'm touching. All right, welterweight, Jake Matthews, Darius Flowers. New Shaun.
I lost a good amount of money on Jake Matthews last time out. I thought he turned the corner when he crushed Fiallo there, and then absolutely laid a fucking egg against Semelsberger. Got lit up, looked disinterested. Hard to trust a guy like that. I don't know much about the guy he's fighting. He's fighting in LFA and winning and crushing people, so he can't be too terrible. I'm just staying away. I don't want to lose any more money on Matthews right now.
Fair. Brad?
So we've got Black Beast and Beast Mode on this card.
Ooh.
Apparently Darius Flowers' nickname is Beast Mode. It also looks like he's got that the Gracie G tattooed on his chest, which is kind of weird. I don't think he's a Gracie. But I do think he's going to lose here. And I don't really have an opinion on this fight. I was just trying to think of something to say.
Good. I actually like Jake Matthews here. Jake Matthews usually beats guys he's supposed to.
Yep.
He loses guys where...
Wasn't he supposed to beat Semelsberger?
But Semelsberger's, he's good. He's not a bad fighter. Maybe he was supposed to beat him and he was a bit of a fave, but we're talking about Darius Flowers here, whoever the fuck that is.
Always happens with Jake Matthews. He'll win 3 in a row. People think he's in the corner, and then he loses at a -400. It's happened.
And then he'll win it
6 times. Yeah, and then he'll go on a 3-fight winning streak again.
Yeah.
And he'll be a huge favorite, and it's happened 6 times in his career now. It's ridiculous.
And I don't know much about Flowers, but I do know he has been submitted 4 times, so I'm assuming his grappling is not very good. And I think Jake Matthews, he has the path here. I think he could be stupid and just stand in front of him. We saw that where it worked against what's his fucking face? He fought a couple fights ago, Andre Filo, where it's like, hey, he should just take him down and dominate that way. And he stood in the pocket and knocked him out and looked great. But, I mean, if he does get hurt, if the strike is not going well, I think he has the grappling, can get him down. So I like Jake. I think -250 against a debuting fighter who's lost to a bunch of random fucking people. And I don't know. I think -250 is worth it on Jake.
Do we think that he got the tattoo instead of actually training jiu-jitsu?
I mean, possible. I've seen guys get USA Wrestling tattoos without being on USA Wrestling.
Cody did.
An idea. All right. Middleweight, Roman Kopylov, Claudio Ribeiro.
I still think Kopylov is a fraud. This is still the guy who got choked out by Karl Roberson and lost to Albert Duraev. I know he's had some success the last 2 times out here. I don't think Claudio Ribeiro is good, but the guy throws hammers. He's got 11 KOs, 11 wins. I'm throwing a dart. I think fraud Kopylov finally shows back up again. I got +215. I bet online for a unit.
Right.
So you think the copy of Kopylov shows up.
Yes.
That's what's happening here. I kind of agree. I think that he's probably the better striker in this fight, but I don't think he's going to grapple, and he's in there with a guy who's just going to brawl with him. And Ribeiro's going to eat some shots and try and get inside, and I think at some point he lands something. What's the inside or the TKO there, Sean?
It was, I don't think it was great.
It was probably pretty close. Like, it should be pretty close to the money line.
Yeah, Ribeiro inside is plus 250, and he's like
200.
plus 190, plus 200.
Yeah, that's just money line. We'll just go money line there.
Yeah.
I'm not betting this fight, but I'm going to pick Kopylov. He seemed to struggle with grapplers less than strikers. His striking is okay. He can get the job done, and I think it's going to be. I don't blame you. I think it's going to be a closer fight. I just think Kopylov is more likely to win with his striking, and I think he can get it done. But I'm not betting this. I don't know how people would lay the juice on this, so I truly don't blame you guys for taking a shot here. I just think Kopylov is who's going to take this one, so I'm going to pass. All right, heavyweight, the Black Beast. Derek Lewis versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Battle of the cardio, the gas tank fight. New Shaun.
Oh, glorious! And we're in Salt Lake City. I wonder if that's gonna help either of these big boys.
That's awful.
Yeah, I've been fading both these guys. I've faded Black Beast until recently. That wasn't really working out, but it's worked out recently.
He bankrupted Wes. He had to sell his house at one point.
Wes has been well, I don't know. Wes has kind of been flip flopping, so he hasn't been.
Wes has been betting on the Black Beast.
I know, and it's been costing him.
Ruining.
Like, I think he bet Black. I know he bet Black Beast.
Spivak, he did.
Vaso.
And I think he he played Spivak against him. Yeah.
Tough matchup.
Yeah, and I've faded De Lima a lot, and it's not been working out. This should be a banger for however long it lasts. Hopefully it doesn't go too long and we get sloppy. Of course, maybe we can get some Black Beast round 3 for old time's sake. I wouldn't hate that. I think at the number it is Black Beast against a non-good heavyweight. I think you got to take that number. The dude has obscene power. It is going to be, I think he's going to be taking some leg kicks, and he's not going to enjoy that. And he might spend some time on that back, but he's we need him to pull up his pants and get up. And then if he does that, then it could be night-night for De Lima.
Brad?
The worst part about this fight happening now is that De Lima has the better gas tank than Lewis at this point.
How dare you? Lewis has the most third-round finishes in heavyweight history.
So, I'm a little concerned. De Lima has been knocked out once in his career. It was back in 2012 when he used to just completely gas and quit in fights. Hasn't happened since then. He's been subbed a bunch of times. So what I'm saying is he's due to get knocked out again by the Black Beast. Because, if somebody's going to knock you out, that's the dude. I just think it needs to happen early. I'll feel even worse than normal heading into the third round with the Black Beast if that's what happens here. But we still got to back him. He's one of the dudes.
He is one of the dudes. And maybe Black Beast is due for a sub. He has one. And it was shot. When you see a guy with no jiu-jitsu and he has one sub, you just always assume it's a rear naked choke. Armbar.
Or strike to, or if they call it submission to taps.
Black Beast's one sub is by armbar. I need to see a video of Black Beast hitting an armbar. That
Plus
would be
2,500. Does that sound good to you, Lance?
That sounds good. Well, I think it's also a lot of De Lima's sub losses are complete quit jobs where he would have probably ended up being knocked out if he wouldn't have just given up his neck. And this is one of the most unimpressive win streaks I've ever seen. So he's won 4 of his last 5. Waldo Cortez Acosta, 2022 Andre Arlovsky, Ben Rothwell, and Maurice Green.
Heavy hitters.
Bangers.
That's the streak. And meanwhile, Black Beast has basically only top 5 guys. All guys, maybe two Ivatas dropped out now. But that was also just, he had some stomach. He had some gastro pains that night probably. But, I mean, he lost, like, Spivak is clearly good. He lost to Sergey. He lost to Gon. Like, he's not losing to bad guys. And I think we're going to see Black Beast, old school Black Beast, get on top of a man and just completely murder him. De Lima can be taken down, even by accident. I think Lewis can, land a shot, get on top of him, and then I think he's going to get on top and get a finish that way. And plus 195 versus De Lima. If I would have told you 3 years ago that Black Beast would be a plus 195 underdog versus De Lima, you'd call me crazy. And I think we're looking too much. And this is the first fight Black Beast is fighting someone that's not a really good fighter. He's been fighting nothing but really good guys for a long time. And I think we're going to see that here. And I think he also knows this is it. I think if he loses this, it's probably it for the Black Beast. And he's not fighting in this isn't in Texas, right? Where is this?
Salt Lake City.
His record in Texas is 0 for the century. I think he gets a win. So this will be the consensus bet of the week on the Black Beast. Hopefully not for the last time. But I guess we'll see. All right, let's move on now to the welterweight division as we have the better Bonfim versus Trevin Giles. New Shaun. Cop.
Giles his wins have been not very impressive lately. Their wins just very, very close. I think he's
Roman Dolidze.
It's a good one. He was beating everybody. Future champ.
Yep.
That's a weird one in hindsight.
6 years ago.
Oh,
Brendan
James Krause.
Allen.
What about James Krause?
I mean, if you would just say, "Hey, this is the man that beat Brendan Allen, Roman Dolidze,
Ryan Spann,
Spann.
Hike.
Insane.
He only loses the top 10 guys. I mean, what do you want from him?"
You might be onto something. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I think Bonfim's gonna out grapple him and possibly even sub him. I think Bonfim is pretty good, and Giles is there to be taken.
Brad?
Giles does have a way to make fights just dirty and close.
Yep.
And he's fighting a young, flashy guy. Would you really be that shocked if he made another fight dirty and close? Maybe we'll look for some split decision props or something like that in this fight, because I don't know. I just I don't think it's going to be that easy for old Bonfim.
I looked at the inside the distance, see if there's anything there, and it's minus 210 for Bonfim. So I don't know if you're gonna ride that thing. I think Bonfim I think he gets the win here. I think he probably gets a submission. But I don't know. That's a hefty price. Minus 300 versus a tough guy that does, as Brad's point, makes fights dirty. And I don't know. Bonfim hasn't really proved himself to be a top level guy to beat a guy like Trevin Giles that easily. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm not laying that price. All right, welterweight division. Moving to the main card. I love this opening fight. It's just fucking perfect. Michael Chiesa, Kevin Holland. New Shaun.
I like Michael Chiesa here. I still think that Kevin Holland is pretty fraudulent, especially in the grappling. Michael Chiesa takes down good grapplers. He doesn't take down great grapplers. Kevin Holland is not a good grappler, and Chiesa is going to take him down. I know there's going to be a bit of size discrepancy there. Holland probably should have never been a 185er if he was actually taking fighting seriously. And Chiesa is coming up from 55, but I just think Chiesa's grappling is going to be enough. I am looking to take Chiesa and a small play on Chiesa sub.
Brad?
Chiesa's fought at welterweight a bunch, and he's never looked small at welterweight.
No, he just has fought at 55, right? So
yeah. I agree with you. I don't think that Kevin Holland moving down to welterweight means that he knows how to grapple, and Michael Chiesa knows how to grapple. He's done it against good guys. He's very good at getting to your back, and isn't too much of one of those shot clock guys. He'll actually go for some subs every once in a while, which is nice. But I think he's going to find success grappling here, and I think he's going to get to Holland's back. And Holland has good sub defense, so I don't think Chiesa is going to get him out of there. But we'll go with Chiesa for the decision.
Chiesa's retired. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. He has fully transitioned to UFC analyst. He hasn't fought in 2 years. He hasn't won in a very long time. The dude's done. Like this is Chiesa's last fight in the UFC.
Comeback season.
He's done. He's just completely done. Like he's a guy who had aspirations for the title, had a good run, lost some fights, didn't fight for 2 years, and now he wears a suit on Saturdays instead of fighting. Yes, Holland does not have very good wrestling. Chiesa is going to be very small in this. Kevin Holland is a massive 170. Chiesa is a small 170. And I think Chiesa's just done. I think this is too much athlete for Mike Chiesa here. I wouldn't be surprised if I actually think Kevin Holland is going to submit Chiesa. That is how I see this fight going. I see Holland getting a sub here. Chiesa is one of those, he's a really good hammer. He's a really bad nail. He gets on the ground and he's got great offense, bad defense. And I think Holland's going to be the bigger, stronger, tougher guy. On the feet, it's not even semi-close. And I think Holland's going to be able to get this fight up on the feet. I think Holland could even get some sweeps, get some takedowns, things like that. I think this line is just begging people to take Chiesa, and I think he's going to look like an old retired fighter in this one. I love Kevin Holland. The inside the distance, I think, was plus money right around that last time I looked, and Chiesa's a quitter. He does. He's a big time quitter. So what was it? Holland inside plus 115. I like that a lot. Chiesa's lost 6 fights. He's lost 5 of them by quitting.
Yeah.
Kevin Holland. I love Kevin Holland in this fight. All right, let's move on. Speaking of worst, what this card's great, but the average age on the pay-per-view has got to be like 36.
It's pretty
wild. Like Bobby Green, the youngster on the card at 36. Yeah. All right. Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. Great. Let's do it. New Shaun?
This is just a hard fight to bet. I don't really feel comfortable laying minus 400 on Bobby Green against really anybody. Sometimes the dude looks like he's turned a corner, and then other times he just makes fights close or loses close fights and gets mad about it. He's got skills, and Tony's absolutely fucking washed and could get put out there. It's hard trusting Bobby Green to do much. Like, him by decision is like plus 135. Him by finish is like plus 150. Like, those aren't amazing numbers for a fight that could go a lot of ways, even if Bobby Green is winning and winning easily. And I just, like I said, don't want to lay minus 400 on Bobby Green, but he should win, and it should be sad.
Yeah. Oh, and someone mentioned Chiesa's not a small 170. There's a difference between tall and small. He's a tall, lanky guy fighting a man who's also way taller.
Who's also a tall, lanky guy.
Yeah, tall, lanky guy.
He's even taller and more muscular.
He's
Kevin
lanky.
Holland's
Those guys are
6'3".
fun to grapple, aren't they, Lance? Those tall, lanky ones?
They are, but not if they're stronger than you and taller than you. Double whammy.
Whammy.
Shorter and weaker. Not a good combo. Brad?
Best combo. Yeah, I'm never gonna bet Bobby Green as a minus 400 just because I'm a man of principles. But Turd looks like he got flushed a few times at this point. It's not. He's like Shogun 39. He's 39, but he's a very, very old 39.
Worse, Shogun was still attempting to fight though.
No, I'm talking about like the way he moves. Like he just can't move anymore.
Yeah,
It's not good.
he can't move.
It's not good for a guy whose style is like move around and throw a lot of shit.
Yeah. Dubronk's really finished that man off. Poor fella. I'm gonna bet Bobby Green. I hate Bobby Green. I've always liked Tony. I don't love Tony, but this is the last chance we get to even though with his big odds here, like Tony's got what's he gonna do? What is Tony gonna do in this fight? He can't.
Never know. He won round 1 against Chandler.
Yeah, that was insane.
And then
Looking back like that scares me for any of Chandler's future fights.
Yep.
Yeah. And then he got fucking deaded by 80-year-old Nate Diaz.
Oh, that fight.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna bet Bobby Green. I think we can get one more cash out of this thing. All right, welterweight, Stephen Thompson, Michael Pereira. New Shaun.
I bet Stephen Thompson against Kevin Holland last time out, and he looked good. The concerning part for me is that wasn't boring what we're used to. Wonderboy. He was actually trying to. He was trying to actually hit somebody hard and put them out. That's a little scary for me because Wonderboy is 40. He has taken some beatings lately. He did get cracked a couple times early in that Holland fight. He's fighting a guy that's going to be just so much more physical than him. He's younger. I mean, Pereira's not amazing. Going to a split decision with Pontoon Boat in 2022 is a bit concerning. I just got to stay away from this fight. I lean Stephen Thompson. I liked what I seen last time for what he did offensively. I'm just scared defensively when he's fighting a 29-year-old physical dude that is going to test him.
Brad?
Stephen Thompson is so much better than this guy on the field.
He is.
That it's ridiculous. And honestly, I think Pereira would have a better shot if he was like the old crazy brawler style of himself than this grappling version that we've seen come out recently. I don't think he's going to have, like, he's way bigger and way stronger, but I don't think he's going to get close to Thompson. I think this is going to be another one of those, like, what was it, the Jeff Neal fight where we expected Neal to be good, but I don't know, his insides got all fucked up at some point, and then he sucked after that. Now he's finally kind of good again. But yeah, I kind of see something like that. So I like Wonderboy here. Decision probably.
Yeah, I like Wonderboy here. It's tough. Like, it's hard to get inside unless you have good technical strike. It's hard to get inside to be able to take him down, unless you're just a really good wrestler. And the alternative is you can't. It's not just takedown. Michael Pereira has been fighting with. He's been point fighting. He's been sticking and moving, jabbing, inside and out. You can't do that against Wonderboy. So if Pereira is not able to get this fight to the ground, it's gonna look like the Kevin Holland fight. I mean, is there that much of a difference there, like from striking styles and things like that? Like, I think Stephen Thompson's just gonna be a little too much here in the feet, and he really hasn't taken many steps back for a 40-year-old guy. Like, I mean, yeah, like, does he beat Bilal Muhammad 7-8 years ago? Probably. I think he could keep that fight on the feet a little bit more and win that fight and be a little better in the striking. But overall, he's still beating who he should beat most of the time, and he should beat Michael Pereira. I think he's just going to be too much on the feet, and I think he can keep this fight standing. Yeah, there's a bit worry that Pereira could lay on him. I just don't see that as the game plan here. I think he's going to keep with his smart striking style, and that's going to backfire. So I like Stephen Thompson. I think he's worth putting in a parlay. All right, co-main, my heavyweight, Jan Błachowicz, Alex Pereira. New Shaun.
This is terrifying, but I like Jan. I don't like him that much just because he is fighting an absolutely terrifying human being who can pretty much knock out anybody at any point. So that is scary. But Jan hasn't been grappling lately, but that he's been fighting better grapplers than him. The last time he fought a guy that he was way better at grappling than was Izzy, and he grappled him. Can he get caught? Of course, but I'll take Błachowicz to not be a moron and do what Sean Strickland should have done and just grappled. And he's the much bigger guy. If he gets on top, Pereira's in trouble. But like I said, terrifying human being. So it'll be a small play for me on Błachowicz.
Brad?
I get it if he can actually get the fight down. If he gets on top of Pereira, I'm going to say more than once. I think once Pereira can probably just like scoot to the cage and get up. If he gets him down more than once, it's going to be bad scenes. But I don't think it's going to happen. We talked about Tony earlier and how he can't move. I think Jan's kind of in the same boat. Hasn't really looked the same since that Glover fight where he just can open him all the hell. Yeah, he put the forearms to use, drown him in the river, as it were. You think Jan is training with dudes that are trying to drown him in a river? Come on. It's revolutionary stuff in the garage. Pereira's going to keep it on the feet. He's going to be so much faster than this big lumbering ass target that is just going to be marching towards him. It's going to be rough going for Jan here. I think it's all Pereira.
Yeah, I mean, the PTSD alone of seeing Glover hanging over that bench before the fight, just staring him down. Welcome to the garage
He's
again.
Start reaching over, touching his neck before the fight even starts.
Yeah, I think, we look at the Izzy fight, and that's what I've seen everyone picking Jan talk about. The Izzy fight. 2.5 years ago. Jan's 40 now.
Yep.
2, Izzy does not have that body that Pereira has. Izzy is not a strong, he's not this big, strong dude. Pereira is big. He is not going to be undersized for this weight class. And to think Jan doesn't have good wrestling. He just falls over on top of guys. Like, he doesn't have any sort of technical wrestling. And yeah, Alex Pereira is not this great wrestler, but he's a big dude and he's strong. And I think he can keep Jan after him. And I think on the fight, just hilarious. Like, I don't see this competitive on the feet at all. And I think that's where we're going to see this fight. And I don't know. Like, I've seen way more Jan love than I expected. When this fight was first announced, like, my initial thought is Jan's going to get fucking decapitated. He's fucking old. He's slow. He doesn't have great wrestling. This is not Izzy. And we're getting Pereira at an underdog here. And that's a bit surprising. So, Munich. And we're against Shaun, which is pretty much a fucking
Start spending it right now.
This is gonna be a big bet. This is gonna be quite the bet here. I don't know if it's gonna be up to the Dubronx level of bet size, actually I had a bigger bet than Dubronx this year. Usually that's my biggest bet of the year I always hit, but my boy Pantoja. That was the king of bets. But yeah, I love Alex Pereira here. I don't know what happens next to 205. I think it's fucking confusing as shit. But I think Alex Pereira is going to be right there, and he might find himself another title shot. And also the guys, everyone's like this. If he wins this, does he get another title fight? My thought is like, why the fuck not? He's 36. He's fun. He's got great striking. He's marketable. People like him. Like, I honestly think we could see a title shot if he wins this fight. So I think that's what happens.
Next at light heavyweight? Krylov.
Bearjew double champ.
Krylov. He's gonna do it for me before the end of the year.
Is he still
worst prediction of the year?
Is he still in the UFC?
I don't know. I haven't heard his name.
He's somehow beaten dudes still.
Yeah,
he has.
Great.
He's on a win streak. I just looked.
Yeah, title shot right now.
Yep.
He hasn't lost since the Bearjew. I gotta say, like, despite Bearjew's like horrible losses and stupid fights and all this, The dude's
The
got one of the
resume.
best resumes I've ever seen in my life. He beat Ankalaev. He beat Jamal Hill. He's beaten Krylov, Shogun, Munez. Like, he's got a great fucking resume. I mean, he's beaten the top 2 guys. Well, Gaethje's back now, but like in the division, it's fucking wild. Well,
Bearjew has to be in the conversation for pound. Because now he's down at 185, and he's beating dudes down there. He's beating like the champ and everyone at 205.
Double champ.
Pound for pound.
I mean, for his skill and his fighting style to what he's accomplished is one of the craziest fucking things I've ever seen. The guy has never learned how to strike, has not learned how to wrestle, and has beaten a plethora of like top 3 guys, including the champ and the guy who should have been the champ in Ankalaev. It's really wild. Like, hats off. Jew power. All right, let's move on to the main event of the evening. We go real quick without Wes, don't we? We might get this in an hour. Main event. Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje 2, 5 years after the first fight. Love this fight. Love this card. It's going to be great. New Shaun?
Great fight. Should be action-packed, just like the last one. I like Gaethje here at the number he's at. I was able to grab plus 144. I think Gaethje, now that I know the whole composure and fighting smart thing, I think got overblown a bit. But he's definitely fighting smarter than he did when he first entered the UFC. There's not really anything else you can say about that. It's a bit smarter, and I just think he's just better. He had good success at points in that first fight. I think he's a much better fighter now. Poirier's taken some damage. I know he's got some big wins since that last fight, but Gaethje just fought Pezaev, who's probably the best technical striker at 155, and was able to beat him. I know Poirier has good striking. He definitely does have more power than Fiziev, and Gaethje can be rocked, but I'll take Gaethje. I think he puts him out this time, and he's almost ready for another title shot. I'm putting 2.5 units on him.
Wow. Blow the fuck up on Dustin, Brad.
I'm not. I think Shaun gets back on track with this one. This starts it.
Let's go.
Gaethje's been fighting good fighters and dangerous fighters, and I know Poirier in his last fight, he took on Michael Chandler, went life and death with him, but he hasn't been very active. Like, he doesn't. You talked about Chiesa being a part-time fighter and retired. I don't think Poirier's to that point, but he does not stay busy. And Gaethje's been in there recently against good guys, looked very good in that fight. And I think he's got it over 5 rounds against this version of Poirier.
One fight in the last year and a half for Poirier.
Yeah, but he fought 3 times in 2021.
He did fight a bunch in 21, but
that was when he kept fighting Conor.
Yeah.
So that doesn't even really count as a fight at this point.
He fought Conor twice, and then Bronx murdered him and spit in his family's face. I like Dustin here. It seems every time Gaethje takes that step up, that last step up, he loses. It's happened every time. If you look back, he did it with Eddie, and then Poirier, and then Khabib, and then Bronx. Every time he gets to that precipice, he loses. And
only 2 of those has been in the last 6 years, by the way.
Well, he hasn't. I mean, everyone's beats Michael Chandler. Let's be real. Everyone's beat Michael Chandler. Everyone has some scary moments versus Michael Chandler, and then beats him. And then I think the Fiziev fight, like he looked great in that fight, but he also got the shit kicked out of him too, like he always does. And I don't know, like I need to see him beat a guy that's in this big time name like a Dustin Poirier who's in the top 3 or top 4. And I haven't seen that yet. And I think the time off for someone like Dustin, I see that as an advantage here. Dustin was in some fucking wars. He got beat up. He was in some very tough fights. He's still only 34, which isn't that old. And I think taking a year and a half off, is that a bad thing? I think when you get a little bit older and you're in the fights that these guys are in, I don't see it as a bad thing to take some time off, to take a year and a half off. Gaethje was just in a fucking ridiculous war 4 months ago. I see that as an advantage for Poirier, getting some extra rest. And I don't know, Gaethje just, I feel like he's going to get caught again. I think he's going to have his moments. I think he's going to hurt Dustin. Dustin seems to like to get hurt a lot more recently as well. But it just comes down to, I think Poirier is going to land that clean shot and put Gaethje out again. I think the line's fair. So I do like Dustin in this fight. So I'm going to pick Dustin. Probably bet Dustin in this fight. What is the doesn't go in this? It's got to be juiced, right?
Oh,
Big.
it's
Like super juiced. Oh, it's 5 rounds too.
Yeah,
Not that bad.
It's actually not that bad. Minus 220. That's actually
Doesn't
cheaper
go
than I thought
is
it'd be.
minus 215.
Yeah, might do that.
That's cheap.
Might do that. Might do it. Well, that'll do it for this week's show. 1 hour, 2 minutes. That's pretty good.
1 hour 5. You had to restart. We're a little bit more than that.
Whatever. Don't ruin this for me.
We'll survive.
So everyone enjoy the fights this week. We will. I don't know.
Font versus Sandhagen next week.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure the rest of the card sucks.
the card's in Nashville, and I'm going to be in Vegas.
Perfect.
What are we doing? Everyone enjoy the fight this weekend, and we will be back next week.